Here at Brands Hatch, the first of two Mini 7 Racing Club Epics is about to get underway. The car's coming to the end of their warming up lap. As you look at Tony LeMay's car, we have four different classes: the 1300cc Mini Miglias, the rather more open Mini Libra class, and then the good old faithful 1 litre Mini 7s and the slightly less tuned 7Ss, which are just as frantic. So 4 races within one. Pole position yesterday was claimed by Jeff Smith, but he's not on pole position because, having set the best lap time, he then had a huge off coming out of Sheen Curve, damaged not only the car but the barriers, and the car has therefore had to be withdrawn. That means Ian Curley is on pole position, with Kane Astin lining up with him at the front, Sean King and Joe Polly on the second row of the grid, Rupert Death and Phil Bullen-Brown on the third row. But of course, it's the Mini Miglias, the quickest cars, that will go first. The way the grid works out, you've effectively got 3 different grids. The Miglias and the Libras make one, the 7s make the second grid, and the 7Ss will make the third. So we have the cars trickling into place, and some great battling you can anticipate throughout all of this. Ian Curley on pole position, twice a Mini Miglia champion. He's come back into mini racing after a few years away. He had a brief spell in the British Touring Car Championship. He has done a bit of historic mini racing, and his is the white car on pole position with Kane Astin alongside him, the property lettings and management guy, who has also been a very successful mini racer with a Miglia and a 7 title to his name. His is the green and yellow car, sorry, grey and yellow car, I should say, on the outside of the front row. The pale blue livery on the second row is Sean King, who again is a rapid driver from Mini 7s and MGFs before coming to the Mini Miglias. But we're about to go racing. It is a 20-minute race. The clock will start any second because in a moment the lights will go out. It is blast off, and the Migs are away first then, with the best start then being made by Ian Curley as they accelerate their way up towards Paddock Hill Bend for the first time. The Mini Libra cars on the back. Now, as they turn into paddock, the Mini 7s are good to go, but it's going to be Ian Curley just ahead of Kane Astin. But the Mini 7s are away, and there they are, with the 7Ss chasing after them. One car, I think, has been left on the line, but as they head up towards paddock for the first time, good getaway by, amongst others, the car of Daniel Munro from the outside. Spencer Wanstall also making a pretty decent start as they go through paddock. Right, back to the Miglias, and it is going to be just in the lead. Ian Curley, as they are ready to get onto the Grand Prix loop for the first time. Number 23, you can see in the pack, Rupert Death. He's dropped back a little bit from where he qualified. The red car of Colin Peacock, the commercial brains behind the Mini 7 Racing Club. We've got one on the grass, look, coming down out of Druids. That, I fear, may well have been Giles Page out of the 7S category, the 62-year-old, as the leaders now come along Cooper Straight in the 7 and 7S battles for the first time. The cars with the 7 at the front of the number, the triple-digit cars, they're all the 7Ss, so you can differentiate those from the Mini 7s, which look similar, but again are slightly more tuned than the 7Ss, which is very much the entry-level class for the Mini 7 Racing Club. And you can see they're all in one long, long line as they drop down through Hawthorns for the first time of asking. The best of the 7s at the moment is Ross Billison, the electrician, who's a bit of a mini specialist after something like 12 years of racing minis of varying descriptions. There, number 41 goes through Daniel Munro. Now, he was well placed on the grid on the outside of the front row for the 7s, but has dropped back a little bit off the line as the 7Ss climb the hill as well for the first time. And it was 709, which is the car of Matthew Page, the ski instructor in the lead. The Migs go across the line together, and it is Ian Curley just ahead then of Kane Astin. 96 thousandths is the margin as these two try to break away from Aaron Smith in third place. Very, very wide indeed, though. There goes Joe Polly, daughter of hot rod legend George Polly. Brother Dave, one of the stars of Formula 1 stock car racing these days, having been a world champion in Formula 2. And Joe, very, very accomplished racer herself. So she's one to watch, I think, over the course of the remaining 17 3/4 minutes of the race as the leaders come along Cooper Straight. It's still Ian Curley using all of his experience to good effect. Big deep breath as Paul Woodbridge, number 93, another driver who used to race on the ovals, loses out to the 7Ss that are all over the circuit, coming out of paddock this time on the outside line in 709. Matt Page then, late braking from the green car of Oliver Burkitt, the former Carter, as he scrabbles his way around Druids this time. How many minis can you get across the track? 3, maybe even 4 here. Big, big lunge to the inside line there. And Jonathan Page in 710 just gets up the inside of Paul Woodbridge, whose son Glenn is somewhere in the pack as well, and was ahead at the start of the lap. Paul's dropped back a little bit over the course of the Indy Circuit lap. Now there off the road, that's Joe Polly, is it not, who's had a moment at Westfield. So through the gravel she has gone. Back up to pace now, so places will have been lost. Ian Curley still the race leader as the Swift Tune cars in replay. You can see Deeth up the inside, clip the curb, clip Joe Polly, and also getting involved in all of that was number 36 of Josh Canning. So it was Rupert Deeth being quite courageous on the inside, hit the curb, that unsettled him, bounced him across into Joe Polly's car, hence she was in the gravel. Here are the leaders, and it's now 3 for the lead because Aaron Smith in 0, 4 times a Mini Miglia champion, has joined the party as well now. Ian Curley leads, Kane Aston in 2nd, but Aaron Smith right there in 3rd, trying to go the long way around on the outside at Paddock, can't do it. Up the hill he goes to the outside line. The outside at Druids, if you can stand your ground, becomes the inside for Graham Hill Bend. Oh, no, you don't, says Kane Aston. And oh dear, there's one well and truly beached in the gravel at Clark Curve. That's for 2nd place. You can see number 11, Kane Aston. 0, Aaron Smith. He's done the fastest lap of the race. But now Luke Caudle, who's the clerk of the course for the Mini 7 Racing Club, is going to have to decide whether or not we need a safety car to get the beach car out of the gravel as another one heads all over the grass. Was that Colin Peacock, potentially, in the background going wide, coming out of Graham Hill Bend? He dropped to 10th place anyway, and I fear has fallen further down the order. So there you can see in the background the car beached at Clark Curve, and Ian Curley, Kane Aston, Aaron Smith leading the way at the moment in the Mini Miglia category, and walking away Ian Fraser, the former autograsser. He's the one in the gravel at Clark Curve out of the Mini Libra class, which at the moment is being led by Julian Proctor, who is well clear of the class opposition at the moment. It's Phil Harvey chasing after him. Now, what's going on in the Mini 7s? It's Spencer Wanstall ahead of Ross Billison there. And the 3rd of the 7s currently is Damien Harrington there, look, number 29. 4th of them, Daniel Munro, number 41. So that's the 7 lead battle. Down they come towards us. And Spencer Wanstall in the red car, just ahead of Ross Billison. Now, these cars, of course, given the complete lack of aero and the shape of the Mini, are able to slipstream. They're able to overtake very readily. And they always deliver plenty of great racing. Up towards Westfield they go once more. In fact, we're almost up to 5. There is Glenn Woodbridge, who, like his dad, started in oval racing, rookie rods, then super stocks. But when he's not racing, is a really proficient race preparation expert as well. Up the inside for 2nd place in the Mini Miglia class goes Kane Aston into Druids, and he goes through, moves himself up, goes Aaron Smith against Kane Aston, I should say, so he moves himself through. Aaron Smith up in a 2nd place, Kane Aston drops to 3rd. Next target for Aaron Smith is going to be Ian Curley, the race leader, but now Aaron has got to try and attack and defend, of course, as up towards the left-hander of Surtees they come. Clark Curve out of bounds as far as overtaking is concerned. That yellow flag's still there because of the beached car. But for now, at least, the race continues unaffected as the 3 leading Miglias get away from Sean King 4th, Phil Bullen Brown 5th, Rupert Deeth 6th, Joe Polly 10th after the gravelly moment at Westfield. And Ian Curley, despite what's been thrown at him first by Aston, now by Smith, is hanging on to the lead. In the meantime, what's going on lower down the order? Well, more of the Miglias and the Mini Libra cars coming out of Surtees. The best of the Libra class now is Julian Proctor. Ben Norfolk has pitted out of that category. And the 7s, we've got now 6 of them actually for the lead. Glenn Woodbridge having a go on the inside line there. Look, number 39 in the background, trying to squeeze up alongside Daniel Munro. Couldn't quite do it, but it is Spencer Wanstall in the red car, just in the lead of the class. Ross Billison is behind him. Then you've got Damien Harrington in 3rd. Down they come towards Hawthorns. Ross Billison, the electrician, in 2nd spot then in the white with the blue grille car. Goes to the outside line. Spencer Wanstall keeps him at bay for now. Spencer, another driver that's come from Autograss, but right now sits in the middle of the tarmac and makes sure nobody can find a way past him. But that's not in the case of Ross Billison for the want of trying. He switches to the inside line just as Aaron Smith tries the inside line against Ian Curley for the outright race lead. The Mini Miglias, 3 of them tied together, separated by 0.3 of a second. Drop downhill and a big slide there. All over the curb goes Kane Aston. Threw the car in, just about corrected the slide. Got away with that, but he's dropped off the back of the leading 2. So that briefly releases Aaron Smith. He can concentrate on Ian Curley, trying to find a way back through into the race lead. Won't take long, I don't think, for Kane Aston to get right back onto the tail of the top 2 as they head down the hill once more, going towards Hawthorns. Perfect part of the racetrack, this, to use the slipstream effect. So can Aaron Smith make a dive going towards Hawthorns? Yes, he can. Up the inside, goes through. New race leader. Aaron Smith takes over the lead of the Mini Miglia class. and now makes that run along the short straight up towards the right-hander of Westfield. The road drops down the hill, come up the other side as they go now towards Sheen Curve. Meanwhile, the Sevens have had a change for the race lead as well, because now up to the front of the queue has gone Ross Billison. All of that came about with a big dive, I think, going out of paddock up towards Druids. In the 7Ss there, you can see 701, Matt Ayres, just in the lead of the class. He was a front runner last year, runner-up to Fraser Hack in the class. Glenn Woodbridge in 39 gets himself onto the back of Damien Harrington in 29. That's for 4th in the 7s. Rupert Death, incidentally, the man is in 6th place, won both Mini Miglia races at Snetterton at the start of the year. The Mini Libra wins were split there by Ian Fraser and Peter Hills. Damien Harrington and Ross Billison were the 2 7 winners, and it is Ross Billison ahead at the moment, and Matt Ayres was victorious in both of the 7S encounters, and he leads that class right now. So the 7s make the run along the short straight up towards Westfield. Ross Billison now ahead of Spencer Wanstall. Daniel Munro ahead of Damien Harrington. And where's Glenn Woodbridge? He's 5th, and I think he's got others now. Matt Ayres in the 7S, leading car behind him up the inside line. There goes Damien Harrington in the green livery, gets himself ahead of Daniel Munro. Glenn Woodbridge tries to buy into all of that as well on the outside line coming up towards Stirling's. Can Glenn Woodbridge go all the way around the outside in the gold-roofed car? Just about, but he's going to have to get that move done because he's heading into that yellow flag zone with a car in the gravel. I think he has got the job done. Everybody respects the yellow flag, and they come through Clark Curve with half the race still to go. The leaders went through in the Mini Miglia class with only 8 thousandths of a second between them. And there, coming out of the left-hander of Stirling's, the remaining 7S battle. 799 is another of the 7S class cars. Daniel Balster, the man from Wimslow. And there, the leaders in the big class are side by side again. Back through goes Aaron Smith into the lead again. Ian Curley 2nd. Kane Astin 3rd in the grey and yellow livery, having a cheeky look on the inside. Phil Bullen-Brown 4th. Just not lapping quite as quickly to get back onto terms with these 3 that have made a break early on. Astin has a look to the inside line against Curley. Can't do it because the yellow flag is there, so he's got to tuck back in as they come into the corner. Aaron Smith up towards the line then, clearing the race lead. That green flag means you've gone through the yellow flag zone, you're good to overtake, and up to the outside line now comes Ian Curley. He gets a tow, and round the outside he goes, gets the lead back then away from Aaron Smith, with Kane Astin in 3rd place. Curley the leader, he's got traffic ahead of him now as well, just to throw another spanner into the works as he has to work his way past Nigel Fraser-Kerr, amongst others, out of the 7S category. And the 3 leading Mini Miglias absolutely together as they drop down the hill. It is still Ross Billison, by the way, in the lead of the 7s. A bit of debris lies in the road at the end of Cooper Straight, up towards the left-hander of Surtees. And the race leaders then make the run once more onto the Grand Prix loop. So you've got up front Aaron Smith ahead, sorry, you've got Ian Curley ahead, I should say, of Aaron Smith, and he's got alongside him Kane Astin on the outside line. So down they come, heading into the braking area, and last of the late breakers is Aaron Smith, so he's back up into 2nd place. Ian Curley hangs onto the race lead then as they come now up towards Westfield. Through the right-hander of Westfield they go. And here, further up the road, soon to be negotiated, multitudinous 7S class cars. We've got a change for 4th place overall, by the way. Rupert Death now back up ahead of Phil Bullen-Brown. The 7S battle still being led now by Matthew Page, who's got himself up past both Oliver Burkitt and Matthew Ayres. Race leaders come through, and that is Josh Canning, who was 6th in the Miglia class, and he's had a moment at Westfield, and the car is stranded, and there's another one off in the background. Somebody dropped some liquid maybe, or is that just a couple of drivers having independent mistakes? Either way, that's going to shuffle the order again as way off the road there goes Glenn Woodbridge. Does that suggest the circuit is getting slippery because he's gone a long way off. He's gone through the gravel, and that's the end of him by the look of it. The car does not come out the other side of that. So dramas all the way around the circuit all of a sudden. People having different sorts of problems. But all of a sudden we've got quite a few cars having incidents around Brands Hatch and parked in different places. Ross Billison still leading in the 7s then from Damien Harrington now on the outside line as they swoop into the corner at Hawthorns. On the outside line, Damien Harrington ain't going to get through there. Up the inside line comes the red car of Spencer Wanstall. This is for the lead. Remember, these 3 absolutely tied together. Spencer Wanstall has to back out of that, and ahead of him then is the all-green car in the hands of Damien Harrington. who actually gets away there because Spencer Wansell had to stand on the brakes. That's enabled the top two to get away. It brings Matt Page also into the equation. The leading 7S driver in the blue car, one of the many with a Nick Swift built engine. There's Daniel Munro, number 41, going through. So the race leaders then, Ian Curley, Aaron Smith, Kane Astin, in any order you care to choose. In and amongst the back markers now, this is going to get very, very busy indeed. But Aaron Smith actually has been really brave through the traffic. And look, he's got about 4, maybe 5 7S class cars between him and Ian Curley. So now Aaron Smith is away and gone as they come into Stirling's. Curley for second place has got Kane Astin bearing down on him, but they've got to clear the back markers and they're not going to be able to get past all of them, I don't think, before they get to the yellow flag zone here. So that is a get out of jail free card, isn't it, for the leader, Aaron Smith. Down they turn with Graham Davis in the black 7 then, the one that they can only now get past. So the leader is away. That has worked out beautifully for Aaron Smith, and he is on now for seemingly an easy win. And that was a combination of the traffic and a yellow flag. And Ian Curley just could not do anything about getting through the traffic. So he's now dropped 3.3 seconds, whereas he's only a 10th up on Kane Astin. To Druids they come. Into the right-hander. And Kane Astin, with a tighter line, tries to attack as they drop down the hill. So, oh, and more drama. There's one in the gravel at Paddock now. That looks as though it is Jack Vanner's car. And that's very, very close to the edge of the road with 5 minutes to go. And I would fear for the race's continuation here. So Jack Vanner in the gravel. And he's going to clamber out of the car. But that's a bit marginal. So the clerk of the course will have a look at that, keeping an eye out of the window to see if we are going to end up with a red flag. But as I say, there are more and more cars littering the circuit. And right now, Aaron Smith clear in the race lead. So the race leaders are again on the Grand Prix part of the circuit. The 7s and the 7Ss come down towards clearways. And Aaron Smith, it is, in the race lead with quite a margin. The 7s and the safety car is being deployed. Safety car deployed. There's a big, big lose there. Comes from Oliver Burkitt, 7:46. He bounces back onto the road. But with 4.5 minutes to go, safety car deployed. And I would rather fear that we may not get back to racing. That could end up being our result. So Aaron Smith is going to be a race winner. Ian Curley for second, and Kane Astin looking as though he's going to be third, because it's going to take a while to get everybody behind the safety car. It's then going to take a little bit of time to get that car out of the gravel. I would not be convinced that the race is going to be able to go back live, given the number of cars that you've got to get into a line before you can let the marshals go trackside. So there, Aaron Smith, hand out of the window, virtually celebrating already. I think they've caught up to him. Ian Curley wants the race to restart, of course, because he would be able to attack. But the safety car has been deployed. We've got 3 3/4 minutes on the clock. But by the time everything has been tidied, I'd rather fear that is not going to be the end of the race in terms of overtaking opportunities. I don't think we're going to be able to get many racing laps, if any, back once we get, if we do even get the safety car back into the pit lane. So Aaron Smith leads, and he's a provisional winner in the Miglia class. Matt Page in the 7Ss, Ross Billison in the 7s, and Julian Proctor in the Mini Libra category. As here at Brands Hatch, it looks as though we are set to finish the race behind the safety car.